And to kick the evening off, I want to introduce our host for this evening, and that is Executive Director Ted Turner from Ashfords. Thank you so much, Ted.
Thanks very much, Lisa. As you said, my name's Ted Turner. I'm a partner of Ashfords Accountants and Advisory. Ashfords, with 80 staff and 12 partners directors, is one of the largest professional service businesses in the South East region. Ashfords has had a long and proud history being associated with the Greater Dandenong Chamber of Commerce. We've been members for approximately 20 years, and from this time our partners and staff have really enjoyed being involved with driving this business group together with the local business owners in making this a vibrant networking association. Our team members have served as committee people for the Chamber in the past, and it continues today with Celia Lopez, our Business Services Manager, currently serving as the Chamber's Treasurer. We value our membership with the Chamber, valuing the opportunity to meet with local businesses and work together, forming relationships with people like yourselves, and being part of a thriving local business community. Ashfords is a full-service professional firm. We do audit advisory, business services, bookkeeping, financial planning, superannuation, wealth advisory, and Ashfords BizTech. Also members of AGN International, which is a worldwide association of separate and independent accounting and advisory businesses. AGN International has approximately 200 member firms in 80 countries in the regions of Asia Pacific, Central and Southeast South America, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and North America. Ashfords form part of the AGN Asia Pacific region, where there are 15 countries represented in the region with over 31 member firms. Greg Cusack, our CEO of Ashfords, is the chair of AGN Asia Pacific. We become a member of AGN because our clients' businesses grow, and they grow globally. Then they expect the local advisor to have access to the international expertise incorporating cultural business methodologies that are foreign to us locals. So, Madam,
we've just got Ted who's frozen now. I'm not sure if anyone else is experiencing that.
Yeah, we cannot hear him.
So Ted, I'm not sure if you can hear us, but you're frozen. We can't hear you. We might just give it one more moment and see if you can join us.
Yeah, I can hear you, Lisa.
There we go. You're with us again. I'll let you.
Right. Okay, so I'll go again. 95% of our partners and staff live in the Greater Dandenong precinct surrounding us. We're currently located in one office in the Dingley Village, but we plan to be moving shortly to Dandenong South. Our new premises, a huge 1,200 square metres, will be a great place to hold functions like this, maybe not remotely, maybe when we can get back to each other face to face. Allow our clients to use boardrooms and where we can be close to the majority of our clients. Our new location will also contribute to the success of retaining our existing employees and attract a higher calibre of new employees because of the urban growth in the outer southeast. We feel our new promises will truly reflect our stake in the southeast of Melbourne and that of the Greater Dandenong Chamber of Commerce region. This brings us to why we have Tommy Greer as our special guest tonight from the South East Melbourne Phoenix. South East Melbourne Phoenix are NBL's 9th and newest team. They played their first season last year. South East Melbourne Phoenix want to be part of the local community and build a strong brand and reputation in the South East Melbourne, like all of us and our businesses. Tommy will go into more detail during the presentation about the region and its history and the connection to sport. He'll also discuss some of the challenges they've faced while trying to set up a new business from scratch and how COVID-19 has impacted this. So on behalf of Ashfords, the Greater Dandenong Chamber of Commerce, we welcome Tommy. Also Anup Singh, the South East Phoenix COO, is also joining us tonight, so we welcome Anup, who will also be joining us in our breakout room. So now I'll hand over to Tommy Greer, CEO of South East Phoenix. Thank you, Tommy.
Thanks so much, Ted, and to everyone for jumping on the call tonight and giving us a little bit of your time. If everyone just bear with me for one moment, I'm just going to share my screen in a bit of a presentation that we've put together. So that should now be showing for everyone. If we get a little thumbs up, Ted, we're good to go. Fantastic. So first and foremost, I guess I would like to extend a really big thank you to you, Ted, and the entire team over at Ashfords for providing me and the club this opportunity to speak with you all tonight. Meaningful connections with the South East community are at the heart of our franchise, and there's something we really appreciate, I guess, this chance to connect with you all and share a little bit about our journey and the National Basketball League. So I thought I'd just start off with just a little bit about myself to provide a little bit of background. My name's Tommy Greer. I'm the CEO of, as Ted mentioned, the NBL's 9th and newest franchise, the South East Melbourne Phoenix. Prior to this role, I worked at the National Basketball League as General Manager of major events and programs for 5 years. I'm also a former professional basketballer myself, having spent 10 years with the Melbourne Tigers back when they were in existence. 3 of those years spent as captain and managed to come away with a couple of championships in that time as well. I believe those experiences, along with a lifetime in the sport, have offered me a really unique perspective on how to pull this new franchise together and how we've gone about setting it up. So now I just want to touch a little bit on, I guess, the NBL and the league as a whole. Before diving into the Phoenix specifically, I just wanted to share, I guess, a brief history of the National Basketball League and its current status in the Australian sporting landscape. The 1990s, or the Andrew Gaze era, as many people on this call tonight will sort of reference it as, has for a long time been regarded as the sport's high point, which is actually false. Once that era came to an end, the league did encounter some significant hurdles in light of the exponential growth of the AFL. And for the next couple of decades, it was really difficult for the sport as it struggled to try and find its niche within the marketplace of sports entertainment. Coincidentally, that happened to be the same period of time I was playing in the Basketball League. So hopefully none of that has anything to do with one another. Also, contrast to that was the booming participation numbers at the grassroots level throughout that time, which was growing year on year. Fast forward to today, where we're now 6 years on from the NBL being purchased by a private investor by the name of Larry Kesselman. Kesselman is an incredibly successful entrepreneur, having started businesses such as Dodo and Amity Property. He's also a property developer himself, having just erected the Capital Grand apartments, which are situated in South Yarra. And over that time, he's injected a lot of his own personal time and money into the sport, giving it the marketing injection it required to align the sport commercially, elevating its reach and reconnecting it with the grassroots and fans of the game. Since then, the sport has really gone from success to success. Capacity crowds are filling stadiums across the country. We saw over 17,000 fans attend a game in Sydney last year, which is the most to attend an NBL game in the history of the league. Games over in Western Australia are regularly selling out capacity crowds of 13,000. Free-to-air broadcast deals are common. International club ownership and investment in more than half of the league's franchises. Major ongoing partnerships with well-known and trusted brands such as Bunnings, Kmart, Chemist Warehouse and Hungry Jack's. And all of this has really assisted in securing the league's sustainability. These achievements have all occurred along with a maturing relationship with the NBA, which has gained the NBL a billing as one of, if not the best basketball league outside of the NBA, which is a long way from where it's been in the past. Connections like the Next Stars program, which saw the Mellow Ball hit the shores of Australia last year, the NBA preseason games, which has now been running for 2 years and sees NBL teams head over to the States to play against the Chicago Bulls or big name American basketball franchises. Along with US based ownership has really sort of driven that connection with the NBA. And honestly, look, to put it frankly, the NBL has never been in a better position, both financially in regards to popularity and participation numbers. The period of time we're in right now is currently considered the golden era of basketball. Next, I'm going to take a slight risk and hope that the technology gods are my friend today. They're not often are, but we'll see how we go. Because I'd love to show you guys a really brief little video. I think it does a really fantastic job of highlighting our franchise and what we're aspiring to be.
It is the heartland of Victorian basketball, and you know, we've got 25% of the registered basketballers living in the 15k square area of the South East. These people know their basketball, they love their basketball.
Throwdown one coming away from Melbourne Arena, a packed house. Welcome to the world, South East Melbourne Phoenix. Two left, he's going to have to put it up. One left, Mitch Creek, put it up, Mitch. Wow! That is sensational. Talk about the incredible. New team, new season, new era. You only get one chance to make a good first impression, and they have made the best first impression possible.
You know, in a short time, these guys have been able to establish a real pride in their uniform and a real pride in what we're doing in the South East.
You know, the heartland of basketball, South East Melbourne, there's so many big clubs out here. There's so much support from the community. It is a bit of a country feel, and we aren't that CBD, luxury team. We grind it out, we're gritty, we're tough, and that's where the real heart and heartland comes from. So to represent everyone out in the South East, to all the rural areas, even from my hometown of Horsham back home, it's kind of who we're playing for right now.
First ever home game is underway at the 5 pit. Long bomb from Robinson. 2013, the steal. Mitch Creek all the way home. Picks their lunch money and pops and lights. Believe the hype. This is real. Perfect start to their inaugural season.
Everyone's going to say you're an expansion team, low expectations. We never had that. One of the things that we do is scrap, give ourselves an opportunity.
And over the long arms. And the Phoenix with a chance to tie it up and send it into overtime. Robinson. John Robinson. They have blown the tie bands off the mat in overtime. John Robinson had fire coming out of his hands.
Let's make no bones about it. We are a very entertaining brand of basketball. We keep everything very exciting.
Yeah, we've invested a lot of time in it. They've also invested a lot in us too. We've seen so many members this year sign up for a team that's just in its inaugural year. It's really cool to see. So we want to make sure we give back to them by playing a game out here and putting our best foot forward and giving them a really good show. So we're really excited for it because we've been around the community a lot, but they've been getting around us heaps this year. So we want to make sure we give back to them.
For me, the opportunities that I've got this season to progress my individual game and as a group and build a club where, I grew up playing basketball. It's been absolutely amazing. So, I want to come back next year even better. I want to take another step and so on. And I think that I can do that individually, and I think that we can do it as a group.
We're a piece of paper 18 months ago. We didn't have a laptop. We didn't have an office. And then we got an amazing membership group out there. We got a sold-out game in the last round of the season. There's a hell of a lot to build upon, and we've got a good core of young guys that will build the team around.
We're really close, and to everyone that came along, you can see how much potential we have, and our off-season is going to be amazing. We're going to come in healthy. We're going to come back with a vengeance to really prove that we belong in the top 4.
Technology gods were with me, I think, because I didn't have anyone giving me the thumbs down. I'm glad that ran because I love that video, and especially that image towards the end, the photo of all the members at our last game taking that photo. We're just so incredibly lucky to have such an engaged supporter base right out of the gates during our first season, which I think really speaks to the support of the game within the South East region. As mentioned, so I'll now sort of touch on the club in a little finer detail. As mentioned a few times tonight, we're the 9th and newest franchise in the NBL. Our training facility is actually based just down the road at the State Basketball Centre in Wantirna, which is currently in the final design phases that will see a $100 million redevelopment of the centre, which will create not only a national home for the sport, housing Basketball Australia, Basketball Victoria, a professional women's and men's basketball team, but obviously a home for ourselves. Our club was born 2 years ago when an international investor by the name of Romy Gary, along with some current and former NBA stars, one of which is Dante Exum, who I'm sure many people on this call will know as he represents Australia in the Boomers, purchased a license to launch the new club. Last year was our first season competing in the National Basketball League, and whilst we didn't play finals basketball, we did manage to secure some really substantial wins for a startup club. During that first season, we saw the highest attendance for a home debut of an NBL franchise in the history of the league. We were the first franchise to win their first 3 games in competition, and we had the highest attendance rate for a startup franchise in the history of the league. And that included 2 sellout games right on our doorstep in the South East at the State Basketball Centre, along with attracting over 2,500 foundation members. It's impossible to talk about the club and Phoenix without diving into the region itself. And when creating this club, we were really careful to consider, I guess, the long and deep connection this region has with the sport of basketball. The South East is home to 25% of the country's basketball participation. 25%. That's such a massive number when you really think about it. And is the location of 5 of the largest basketball associations in the country, all with over 10,000 members. This includes, of course, the Dandenong Basketball Association, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with, and probably have children participating in the games there regularly, especially once we're back from all these COVID restrictions. The region has been home to many fallen NBL franchises in the past, the Magic, the Dragons and the Spectres, to name a few, which I guess when starting this franchise presented us with a really specific disconnect between the booming grassroots of the sport in the region and a distrust of national franchises' sustainability. This being the case, we knew we had a big task ahead of us. We knew we needed to do things differently in the way we connected with the community and went about building those connections. We knew there needed to be more substance to how we're engaging if we were going to begin winning the hearts and minds of this really educated region when it comes to the sport of basketball. Rightfully so, the general public early days were extremely tentative in all our initial dealings. We knew we needed to take them on a journey because having the support of the sport's faithful at that level was going to be key to our early success. We really did attempt to engage with associations, clubs and members through regular consultative meetings with each key group during our setup phase, considering them as valuable stakeholders and keeping them informed of decisions we were making and different directions we were taking. We always took the time to confer with them along the way and seek for their input. We wanted to ensure that each community group felt connected and a part of what we were building, whilst at the same time, I guess, validating that we're on the right path in rebuilding the trust that we needed to. In the past, the relationships with associations and professional teams have been one of professional teams taking what they can, access to databases, social media and ticketing in return for seldom delivered player appearances. This was largely due to under-resourcing and over-promising. And I guess in order to break that mould of what had happened in the past, our strategy was to flip that model on its head and focus our attention on a specific section of the market, which is how we came to include South East Melbourne in our name. We want to find ways in which we can invest our time, expertise and profile into the community to create value and solve problems for others. We're set to developing programs that would see us assisting associations, schools and the wider community within specific areas of need, whether that be development, promotion or growth opportunities, in order to begin proving ourselves as a worthy and valuable contributor to the local community. I guess our focus throughout this process has not necessarily been to contract clubs and members to binding transactional agreements or anything like that. but more so to connect on a more personal level. The reason for that being the obvious outcome of that would result in an immediate connection to a fan base and growing membership. Over the past 2 years, we've really attempted to use our national platform to present and advocate for the region as best we can, highlighting on a national stage the heartland of basketball and its enormous participation numbers and impact on the sport. Representing the region accurately and with pride is a priority for us. Building a team that the South East community can connect with and feel a part of, a team that fans and members and the community really feel is theirs. So I guess I'll just sort of touch on our progress thus far of the last 2 years, but specifically the last 12 months, which has been a gigantic task for our team, all dating back to when our owner agreed to purchase the licence over a handshake deal at LK offices in the city there, which I still remember vividly. The release of our brand, and of course the first game at Melbourne Arena against crosstown rivals when we came away with our first win. These were all significant milestones that our club and staff celebrated early on. But one of the real critical successes of our first 12 months was securing a strategic partnership with the Hawthorn Football Club, another great sporting club of the South East. That was something that was unseen in the current NBL landscape. However, it was something I was really keen on securing in order to separate ourselves from the current standards within the league and set ourselves apart. That agreement saw us outsource some of our backroom departments and resources to Hawthorn. This decision has provided incredible results for our business model over the course of our early existence, helping to provide world-class level of IP and direction with respect to how we went about setting up the franchise. From everything from our membership strategies and corporate hospitality packages right across the board. We saw over 75,000 fans attend our regular season games, signed up over 2,500 members, secured commercial partners for all of our jersey positions, and delivered over 860 community service hours within our staff and players group, along with raising over $40,000 for charity, including the bushfire appeal. These milestones all highlight our progress thus far, which we're all really proud of and believe has set us in the right direction to become one of the heavyweights of the NBL. However, all of these wins haven't come without its challenges. And as many of you in the room, I'm sure will know, startups are difficult at the best of times. And we've most definitely been presented with our fair share of challenges along the way. Originally, marketing a product or a game day or a team, corporate hospitality package or sponsorship assets, without having ever played or delivered a single game day experience was an extremely difficult task. And in many respects, took a lot of trust on behalf of our partners in securing those connections. We're incredibly fortunate leading into our first season to secure a major partner in Okura, who are a locally based company in Dandenong South, which of course assisted greatly in building confidence in our brand and confidence for others to join the business networks we're forging. Local connections like this is something we're really proud of, and I was really so excited that we could bring a local business on as a major partner in our first year. It's something we're really keen to continue building on, as shown through this great opportunity provided to us by Ashfords. We do like to keep people on our toes at the Phoenix, and COVID-19 has certainly helped us with that one, as I'm sure it has with everyone else. It's no doubt been, I guess, a challenging time for every business. Attending tonight was and is a particularly difficult challenge for such a young startup club to navigate. COVID obviously sent the world of professional sport into shock for weeks, while all businesses started to gain their bearings on what was sure to be a new world and environment moving forward. Sponsorship conversations were hard to strike. Partners and corporates were concerned about the season ahead and protecting their ROI, and all community engagement came to a grinding halt. once again, we were faced with a really similar challenge. We had to begin thinking differently and find out ways to work through in which we could execute for our partners and community in different and creative ways that added value. So in that vein, we went on to launch a whole range of online camps, virtual education and career development sessions, implemented world-class COVID procedures to ensure our performance team could continue to train, and began using our digital platforms to continue branding and providing creative ways to deliver ROI for our partners, which has turned out to be a great success. During the pandemic and due to the shift in thinking, we've managed to secure a major partner for the upcoming season while financially outperforming our membership and community hour targets from the previous season. COVID will continue to be a really tough challenge for the franchise moving forward. So we forecast the impacts of restrictions on venue attendance and scheduling changes and revenue lines across the board. However, we believe we've positioned ourselves well to find creative and adaptive ways in which to overcome that incredible hurdle, which I know is common to everyone here. Building trust is something that we spend a lot of time focusing on as a business and is considered in all the things that we do, even from recruitment of our players. We think about how they're going to engage with what we're trying to achieve, what is their character like, to how we interact with our fans, members and corporates. In all of our connections, it's been paramount to ensure that we're delivering above and beyond what's been promised. In fact, when recruiting our head coach, Simon Mitchell, who also has a really long history with the sport in the South East region, the one thing that really stood out to me the most was his dedication to wanting to represent the region and represent it the right way, professionally, honest and hardworking. These are all attributes that are also reflected in our club values, which are passionate, progressive, honest, selfless and respectful, and somewhat, I believe, a really accurate description of the region itself. We use these values while recruiting our players and staff alike and expect to see them live them in all their interactions. I think Mitch Creek, who's our marquee player, an Australian boomer who's ventured into, in and out of the NBA, is a great example of a player who's really bought into those values and what we're trying to achieve. For those of you who know about Mitch or follow him on his social networks, you'll know his dedication to giving back, and it's something that we really try and enforce in all of our guys. These values are a constant reference point for us as a club and staff to ensure that we're holding up to the standards we set to ourselves two years ago. At this point, we're confident we're on the right path. Continuing to live these values and prove ourselves as a dependable and trusted brand in the South East will ultimately dictate our ongoing success. Finally, I just wanted to touch on our purpose as a club, which states that we're here to achieve championship success while embracing the community and embedding NBL basketball in the South East. And community is the key word I just wanted to touch on there before finishing up. With that being said, I'd really like to thank everyone for their time here tonight. We consider you our community. And once again, the team at Ashfords for the opportunity to speak with you all. It's been an incredible pleasure to share some of our story. And I hope that once restrictions lift, we'll see you all at a game sometime soon. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Tommy. We've got a few questions which we'll just throw to you before we go to the breakout room, where if your question doesn't get asked just in this session, feel free to go to the breakout room and call on Tommy as best you can in these remote like networking events. One question I've got here from Paul Wood. Paul's managing partner of the National Australia branch in Dandenong. As the South East is a hotspot for basketball in this country, how have you been received by the corporates in the South East region, Tommy?
Yeah, really good question. I mean, it hit the nail on the head about the fact that it's a hotspot for basketball. I mean, I touched on all those stats during that presentation, but it's more than a hotspot. Like this is the home of basketball in the country, and all of those associations are businesses in their own right, and have really sort of welcomed us with their open arms. But beyond that, Look, we've had some great success with some local partners. I mentioned Akuro, based in Dandenong South, who jumped on board as our major partner for our first year. Also partnered with MG Ringwood for the upcoming season. But it's an aspect that we're really looking to highlight as we move forward. It's something that we really believe that with the national platform that we have, it's a path we'd love to go down and become an advocate for the region on a national stage.
All right, very good. Just got a bit of a comment here from Richard Vaughan from Ashfords. Congratulations to the Phoenix as a board member and coach of the Junior Basketball Club, Listerfield Wolves, participating out of the Dandenong Stadiums. Phoenix engagement with the domestic club and kids that play has been outstanding. So there's some positive feedback there for you, Tommy.
Fantastic. Keep that coming.
Yep. Question from Paul Langdon. He's a partner of Vincent Associates. Typically, the real contenders at the business end of the season are the teams who have recruited international players that can impact the scoreboard and be influential in wins. With the season launch around the corner, how's Phoenix going on the international recruiting? Has COVID impacted your recruiting? Any inside word on potential international recruits?
Another good question. There's a lot to unpack there. I mean, the recruiting is going well, first and foremost. We've taken a slightly different strategy to a lot of other clubs, with obviously COVID impacting on the start date of our season. It's having the same impact on a lot of other leagues around the world, and how they're going to go about setting up the format of their season. So there is a real window opening up over the course of the next month that's going to see a lot of really high-end talent sort of fall away from the fringes of the NBA and Euro League. That could put us in a really strong position to be able to secure some really high-paid, high-worth players and get them into the NBL for a number of reasons, one of which the quality of the league, but also the safety of the situation down here, well, not necessarily at the moment down here in Melbourne, but in Australia as a whole. So I can't drop you any names. Maybe if you get me in the breakout group, I might be able to drop you a little bit.
And deny everything. One from Jason Ashton, principal lawyer at McPherson and Kelly. How much has the current club decided to try and recapture the old South East Melbourne Magic fans, or is it best look to start from a clean slate given the changes in the market?
Yep. That was a reasonably easy one for us early on, given that we were founded by an international investor who didn't really have any understanding of the clubs that had been and gone in the region in the past. And so we really did want to start something new, something that I guess could sort of reflect that history of the fallen clubs of the region and encompass all of those teams rather than identifying one and specifically calling out that one club. We wanted to be really careful that we were inclusive and more celebrating the region than any specific team that had come before us.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. One from Craig Smith here. What are the club's expectations for the new upcoming season? Is it to make the 21 playoffs?
Championships. That's what we're here to do, to achieve championship success. So absolutely, it's to win a championship. Very difficult task, obviously, in our second year in. We really want to be playing finals basketball this year as a minimum, and believe that we've taken some pretty big, I guess, accelerating steps this off-season, being able to secure a couple of big-name free agents in Cameron Glidden and Ruben Tarangi, who are both one plays for the Australian national team and one plays for the New Zealand national team. So I feel like that's put us in a really good position. If we can sort of get our last couple of pieces right, we think that we're going to be right there at the pointy end of the season.
All right, we'll just try to get a couple more questions in. Greg from Quest Dandenong. Tommy, I'm sure you mentioned it, but missed it. Which centre is your home venue?
Our home venue is Melbourne Arena. That's where we play the majority of our games. But we do take a number of games to the State Basketball Centre in Wanturna each year. So yes, I guess our home venue is Melbourne Arena.
Yep. And Beth from Dandenong Hospital, what do charity partnerships bring to the table for you? Why are they important to the sporting clubs?
It's not necessarily what they bring to the table for us, but it's what we can do to give back And I feel like that is one of the areas where we can have a real impact on the community. And we've struck up a really strong partnership with the Starlight Foundation in Mulgrave. And I know our players are really invested in that foundation and the club is as a whole. So it's not necessarily about what we get out of it, although it is, it's a very rewarding exercise participating in those events. But it's more what we can do to sort of give back to the local community and ensure that we're doing our part and playing our role.
Yep. We've got one from Mark Germanova. Will you look to bring any NBA rookies to Australia post-COVID?
Potentially. So I'm not sure if he's talking about the Next Stars program, potentially. Like an NBA rookie who gets signed from the draft would generally go straight into an NBA team. If you're referencing the Next Stars program, we are definitely in the market trying to find a young potential NBA draftee for the upcoming season. And fingers crossed we can get something done there in the next month or so.
Mm-hmm. And this is one directed from Andrew White from Ashfords. What effect is COVID-19 having on the league's clubs, in specifically salary caps and team rosters?
So the NBL got on the front foot when COVID hit, and we were, I guess, lucky in some respects that our season was just ending. They actually had to cut last year's grand final series short, but it gave us a great window of time, I guess, to sort of get through these couple of phases of COVID to a point where we're seeing a lot of sporting codes have success and failure with a lot of different sort of protocols and strategies that we've been able to really take on board and pick, I guess, the best of the bunch to help us roll out our season. I guess the major effects it's had, there's been a large reduction in player salary payments. So the ABA came to an arrangement with the NBL early on for some pretty substantial salary reductions there. And the start date of the season's been pushed as well. So that's now been pushed to late January at the beginning of next year in the hope that will allow most clubs around the country to be able to play in front of some type of fan base.
Mm-hmm. One from Richard Payne. How many teams can Victoria licence?
Well, as the league's privately owned, Larry Kesselman could licence as many as he wants, but I think two's enough, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. And can the chamber members get tickets to games?
No worries. That's why we've got Anoop Singh on the call. We'll be able to sort you all out.
All right. This is also from Jason Ashton. How would you say your leadership style has changed from being a player to now being a general manager?
Yeah, that's a really good question. To be honest, I think that it's not so much how it's changed, but how I've adapted it, I guess. So as a player, I was a very consultative captain. I like to sort of gain the opinion of a lot of the trusted players and talent that I had around me in order to make the best sort of decisions for the club. And I think that that's something I have applied in my business life. I think that acquiring talent is one of the most important things, and making sure that you have the right people around you to be able to, I guess, project yourself towards success. So I think for me, it'd be more about the things that I've taken with me from my time in basketball, more so than anything that's really changed.
Mm-hmm. And one from Louise Westaway, who I know her husband works at Hawthorn, so no doubt a bit of a connection there. What are your plans around maintaining the community connection at grassroots level in this COVID environment?
Yeah, well, look, we've done a tremendous amount of work in that space in trying to make sure that we don't lose those connections. We've taken all of our holiday camps online. We're delivering came up by game times, which are, I guess, school clinics. We found a way to deliver them online, along with providing what we're calling a Festival of Phoenix over the holiday period, which is providing kids with a lot of engagement items, whether it be from colouring books to quizzes and trivia nights with the players and all sorts of stuff like that. Beyond that, we're trying to provide a whole lot of information sessions and webinars with successful coaches that have come from the region. We've got one coming up next week with Laurie Chiswick about how we can, I guess, help to promote more female coaches into the sport. And we had one of our owners on a webinar just last week on a series that we're calling Fireside Chats, which I encourage everyone to jump on the SEM Phoenix website and go have a look for, because we've got some really big name stars and celebrities coming through that network, which will give people the opportunity to interact with them.
That's fantastic, Tommy. It's great to hear your story, and thanks very much everyone for throwing those questions in. It's great to hear about your critical success in getting an early association with the Hawthorn Footy Club, and it just speaks volumes of the South East region that we can have clubs like Hawthorn, South East Phoenix in our region, and certainly a reflection of the vibrancy that is in the South Eastern region, and certainly try to get as many of those people as part of the Dandenong Chamber. So throw back to you, Tamara and Lisa.
Thanks, Ted, and thanks, Tommy, and thanks to everyone for all the questions.